Thank you, Chairperson, judges, the audience, and my opponent. My name is Shu Odawa, and I'm the affirmative constructive speaker. So I'm happy to be such a semi-final round, so I would do my best. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, judges, and audience, and of course my opponent. I'm a attack speaker from affirmative side. My name is Kento Togawa. I'll do my best in this semi-final round and believing my peers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson, judges, audience, and of course my opponent. My name is Kensuke Nomura. I'm a defense speaker from affirmative side. I'm really excited to be here, and I want to enjoy this debate as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, judges, audience, and of course my opponent. My name is Kento Hashimoto. I'm a summary speaker from affirmative side. In my opinion, personally, I agree with this motion. I think Japanese government should take this motion. So I want to show all of you guys why we need this motion in my debate. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now have a brief introduction from the negative side members.
So thank you, Chairperson, judges, and audience, and of course my opponents. I'm the constructive speaker from the Tokai High School. My name is Yusei Yamazaki. I'm standing in front of many people, so I'm so nervous now, but I want to do my best. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, judges. Thank you, Chairperson, honorable judges, and of course, our opponents. My name is Haru Shinoda. I will be the attack speaker for the negative side for this round. I've never personally debated with Koshi High School before, but from what I've heard, they're really good, and we've seen them debate before, and they really were amazing. So I'm looking forward to having a great debate with them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, judges, chairperson, the audience, and of course our opponents. My name is Satoshi, and I'll be doing the defense speaker. So personally, I think we need these 48 hours rules because if we had this 48 hours rules, then I probably wouldn't be here. So I would like to defend and emphasize how we need over 48 hours. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, judges, audience, and of course, opponent. My name is Yuki. I will be the summary speaker of the negative side. Same as defense speaker, I think for some industry or for some the games, it is necessary for us to spend a lot of time to to achieve the goals. So I'd like to show you in this in our speech. Thank you.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Please say your name and start.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'll start my speech. My name is Shu. Everyone, protect workers' health. Protect workers' health. Observation. Please look at this graph. According to MHOW, 30% of mental and 93% of physical overworked deaths was triggered by long working hours. It means 2,100 deaths from overwork, 600 due to mental, and 1,500 due to physical, but all due to long working hour. However, today's working style reform is not effective enough. According to MHOW, workers can overwork 100 hours per month, which exceeds 80 hours Karoshi line. It means they can work over 60 hours per week, even after working style reform was implemented. This affects workers' sleep. According to Union Research Institute, those who work more than 60 hours sleep for 5.5 hours on average. However, according to Professor Satoru Shima, over 6 hours of sleep is needed to keep our mental health. So workers who work over 60 hours have lack of sleep, so working style reform is not enough. Effect 1, funds adapted. 2, workers' stress will decrease. 3, mental and physical diseases are prevented. They are connected to each other. According to National Cerebral and Cardiovascular Center, about 30% of patients with heart disease have depression. According to MSD Clinical, depression is caused by mental and physical fatigue. 4. The number of health problems will decline. There were 2,100 overworked deaths caused by long working hours, so we can prevent this number of deaths per year. Importance. Stress is caused by long working hours, so this plan brings merits to all workers. In addition, aging society increases their working hours. According to the Cabinet Office, as the population decreases, long working hours will become more serious to compensate for the labor shortage. That means more and more workers' health will be affected. 82. Decrease medical accidents. Decrease medical accidents. Observation. According to the Japan Institute for Labor Policy and Training, 40% of doctors work over 60 hours per week. According to All Japan Hospital Association, 71% of doctors feel chronic fatigue. Also, long working of doctors causes medical accidents. According to Harvard Medical School, long working hours increase the number of injection accidents, prescription mistakes, and misdiagnosis. Therefore, long working of doctors are strongly connected with serious medical accidents. Effect 1. Plans adapted. 2. Doctors' working time will be limited to 48 hours per week, except on-call. 3. Doctors' stress and fatigue caused by long working will decrease. 4. Medical accidents are prevented. According to Japan Surgical Society, 81% of doctors answered the main reason for medical accidents is overwork due to hours. 5. Bad effect on patients caused by medical accidents will decline. According to Tulane University School of Medicine, the risk of disease complications increased by 45% among patients who had operations by doctors that worked all nights the day before. According to Japan Council for Quality Healthcare, there were 3,800 medical accidents caused by long working in 2018. Of the 3,800 cases, about 300 patients died and 1,400 patients became disabled. Therefore, we can prevent this number of accidents after taking this plan. Importance. As we mentioned, 300 patients died and 1,400 remained disabled. Also, we have real-life examples of the miserable consequences of disabilities and deaths caused by medical accidents. First, according to Rumiko Negao, a representative of the group which supports victims of medical accidents, a mother whose son died because of a medical accident thought she wouldn't be able to have children again due to this traumatic experience. Second, according to Kodansha, a woman who became disabled due to a medical accident committed suicide because she couldn't rehabilitate. Medical accidents destroy victims and their families' lives. Security and trust in medicine are indispensable in people's lives. Therefore, we should take this plan. So our 81 was protect workers' health, and our 82 was decrease medical accidents. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, judges, audience, and of course, opponent. I'd like to start my question time. My name is Yuki. First of all, I'd like to ask you about the sleeping time. You said how many hours is necessary for us to
6 hours is
6
necessary
hours.
to keep
Then
our mental health.
How long do the workers work in the current situation? How long do workers work in the current situation per day?
Okay, so according to MHW, about 21% of workers are working over 60 hours.
60 per day?
Okay.
I'm asking per day.
Per day?
Per day, in one day.
Okay, so
As they were working for 16 hours or 18 hours. Even if they work for the 12 hours per day, they still have 12 hours for rest. Why don't they sleep for 6 hours or 7 hours in the current situation? Could you
However,
explain this in your constructive speech?
However, as I said in constructive speech, that workers who work more than 60 hours sleep for 5.5 hours.
Yeah,
on average,
even they
so
work
those
for
workers.
60 hours overtime per week. It does not mean they cannot sleep for 7 hours or 6 hours, right?
Yeah, but those workers are
Okay,
sleep
thank
only
you.
for.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the effect of 81. You said that working time will be reduced and people's health will improve. But how do workers will finish the work in the shortened time? Did you prove anything about that? We
That's
think
not-
the amount of work will not change even after the time.
Yeah.
How do workers will finish the same amount of task in the shortened time?
That's not our point. Our point.
How?
Our point
I'm
is
asking-
working time will be decreased and workers' stress caused by long working will be decreased.
So what do you think is the cause of the overtime in the current situation?
There is too much work. They have
Yeah,
too much work, so they will
Is the
overwork.
situation of too much work or changing after the time?
No, there's no change.
So how can you say that all workers will stop working in the 48 hours and go home and take rest? Did you clear anything?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, judges, audience, and of course my opponents. I'd like to start my constructive speech. My name is Yusei Yamazaki. DA1, damage on transportation industry. Damage on transportation industry. Present situation. 1. The transportation industry is short on workforce. According to MLHW 2019 code, the active opening rate for transportation industry was 3.15, unquote. To deal with the situation, workers at the industry work for a long time. According to MHAW 2016 code, people who work over 48 hours per week is 65% in car driving industry, unquote. Thus, overwork is necessary to meet that demand. 2. Considering the special situation of the transportation industry, it is excluded from the works reform. According to MHW 2016 code, vehicle driving works are excluded from the new limit until 2024. After that, the upper limit of overwork will be 960 hours per year, unquote. Effect. 1. Overwork will be cut to a maximum 400 hours per year. Overwork will decrease by over 500 hours. So the industries will not be able to meet that demand. 2. However, it is difficult to improve productivity and cut working times. According to NITS Research Institute and Consulting 2018 code, it takes an average of about 1.75 hours to wait for loading things if loading is needed. Around 20% of delivery workers have to re-deliver the load, unquote. Raising productivity is difficult because it depends on the customers, not the drivers. Impact. Transportation is a fundamental industry of our country. Without that, it would be impossible to keep our life. According to the writer Ogawa code, the market scale of net shopping is reaching to 12 trillion yen. The logistics crisis directly hits online retailers such as Amazon and Rakuten and stops the growth of online sales since there are no trucks to deliver products. The collapse of the logistics industry will suffer Japanese economy and make a huge loss. Then our lives may not be able to stand, unquote. Says the government shouldn't take the plan. DA2, take work home. Present situation. Workers work for a long time because they have to. There are too many tasks to do within the short working time. According to a lecturer at CUC Tsunemi Code, the most common reasons why they have to overwork is too much work at over 40%. Second, sudden work was over 30%. This is the big causes of overwork, unquote. Effect. All work over 48 hours will be banned. However, since the amount of work won't change, workers will bring work home to finish it. Moreover, they won't get overtime pay because they work at home illegally. According to financial planner Yokoyama Code, since many companies are short on labor and demand to shorten working hours, it is natural that hidden service overtime and taking work home will increase. Workers will face a hopeless society where their work hours doesn't change but their salary reduced, unquote. Actually, it happened after companies had reduced working time. According to Professor Nagahara Code, after companies reduced working time, people who take work to their home has increased by 1.7 times, unquote. Actually, in Europe, the number of people who takes work home is far bigger than Japan. According to business media Makoto November 15, 2011 quote, the percentage of people who take work home 3 times a week is 51% in the Netherlands, 46% in Belgium, but only 28% in Japan, unquote. Therefore, more Japanese people will take work home. Also, in the UK, workers work for a long time but not being paid. According to TUC 2017 quote, in the UK, average weekly hours of unpaid overtime are 7.7 hours, unquote. Therefore, even if working time at office decreases, working that time at home will increase. Impact. The total working time won't change even after the plan. Moreover, people will have worse health due to unpaid work. According to Professor Waseda University Kuroda quote, the long working hours does harm mental health, but it is harmed especially in unpaid overtime, in which overtime is not paid, unquote. Thus, the government shouldn't take the plan. DA1 is about the damage of transportation industry, and DA2 is about the taking work home. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. We will now have our 1-minute preparation time. Preparation time has ended. We will now have a questions from the affirmative summary speaker for 2 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Please say your name and start.
Thank you, Chairperson, judges. Thank you, Chairperson, judges, audience, and of course my opponent. I'll start my questions. My name is Kento. First, I want to ask about DA1. So in your process, did you mention about bankruptcy of transportation companies?
Bankruptcy and transport industry, I want to say that.
Yeah, but will you say bankrupt after the plan? Some of them.
Yes.
Okay, and how much profit are they gaining after like exceeding 48 hours in present situation?
How much profit?
Yeah, in overtime, are they gaining?
What is the profit? Sorry, please.
So you said after the plan, because transportation companies can't work more than 48 hours, they will lose some profit, but right? How much will they lose?
So as I said, the impact, the net shopping is the 12 trillion yen, and after.
Yeah, but you can't say that 12 trillion yen will be completely lost, because even after the plan, they can work 48 hours in a week, right? Okay, and also as an impact, how much damage will be caused to Japan?
In DA1,
Yeah.
at least 12 trillion yen.
Well, at least, but you
Because
said they are gaining 12 trillion yen in total, right? Sorry, I'll move on to DA2. So you mentioned about unpaid working, taking work home. So what if they can't finish their task and they can't do unpaid working? What will happen for them?
The health will damage by the unpaid overtime.
No. What if like they just finish their tasks with 48 hours and they don't do leftover work? What will happen for them?
What will happen?
Yeah. So you
You
said
mean
because they
overtime.
want to finish their tasks, they will do unpaid working, right? If they don't, what will happen? So I mean, what is
Also
the
damaged.
sacrifice for like?
We don't know about that, but
They can finish with 48 hours, right?
yes.
They don't
in
have to do all the original task, right? Why do
Why?
they need to do?
Why they don't have to do all of the tasks?
No. You said, sorry. And about DA2, you mentioned about the impact. So, but what is the impact? The difference by this motion is only where they work, right?
Motion is only
At
daily work.
office or at home, right?
Question time has ended. We will now have a 2-minute preparation time. Please say your name at the start.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Chairperson, honorable judges, and of course our opponents. I am the attack speaker for the negative side. My name is Harushira. Okay, first attack goes to 81's present situation. They said that since working time decreases, sleeping time will increase. However, it's not true because the most important factor of sleeping time is not working time, but the use of smartphones. According to Professor of Akita University, Mishima, quote, another major factor is the sharp increase in IT equipment usage time. When the cause of sleep deprivation was asked in Tokyo, the majority answered smartphones and computers. The time of sleep is not just cut away. The quality of sleep is also damaged, unquote. Secondly, actually in the EU, which is the model affirmative side should be is pursuing, there was almost no difference between those who worked for a long time and those who worked for less than 48 hours per week. According to Warwick Medical School Bakewell, quote, among 19 junior doctors, 9 of them worked less than 48 hours per week, and 10 of them worked less than 56 hours per week. Then the results show that there was a non-significant trend for increased total sleep time per day. Thus, the plan only changes a little, so it almost has no effect. Third attack. As for the effect of 81, they said that workers' health will improve. However, it's not true because people will just take work home. As we told you in DA2, people can't finish work and will take work home. Thus, people's health won't improve, so their effect doesn't stand. Fourth attack. Moreover, workers' health will rather get worse because as we told you, unpaid overwork will especially have damage on mental health. My fifth attack point goes for 82's present situation. They said that working hours regulations would reduce medical errors caused by short sleeping time. But there is no correlation between sleeping hours and errors. Research from American Journal of Health System Pharmacy in 2004 proved that there is no correlation between working hours and number of errors. Thus, their analysis is not true. All right, let's move on to their effect now. My sixth point goes for 82's effect. They said that this plan would reduce medical errors. However, since doctors would have to deal with patients in a shorter time, they would overlook more errors. According to the University of Michigan, quote, in the US, when working hours per week decreased from 67 to 64.3 hours per week, the percentage of interns who reported committing a serious medical error increased from 19.9% to 23.3%. Thus, medical errors would get far worse in the plan, and the probability of their AD is close to none. My seventh attack point goes for 82's effect. They said this plan improves medical cure by preventing errors. However, as we said in our DA2, the EU model would decline the quality of care. According to a survey conducted by Oxford University, quote, 40% of medical workers reported a negative effect of the EU directive on quality of patient care. 71% reported a negative effect on continuous patient care, and 52% reported a negative effect on efficiency and managing patient care, unquote. Thus, the medical environment gets worse with the plan. Thus, they have no effect. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, judges, audience, and of course my opponent. Let me start my questions. My name is Kensuke. About your attack 6 to our AD2, you said that the medical errors will increase because they have to see a lot patient in a limited time, right?
Yes.
So you mean that the doctors' long working are necessary because they spend a lot of time seeing patients, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. In the attack 2 to our 81, you said that in EU that sleeping hours has not changed, but why can you say so? Why?
No, because when we checked, because according to Warwick Medical School Bakewell, so like the working hour was decreased, right? But the time of sleep did not change, so we can say that this happened in the EU.
Okay, so the data shows that sleeping hours has not changed.
Did not change, yes.
Right, thank you. In the third attack to our 81, you said that take-home overwork will happen, right?
Third attack tier 82.
81.
Third attack tier 81. What I said in my third attack tier 81 was that because workers, as we told you in DA2, the amount of work will not change. You never proved that, and they will take work home. So the health problems won't improve.
So you mean that illegal overwork or unpaid labor will happen after taking this plan, right?
Like
of course, take home is illegal.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. In just attack 7, you said that in EU the negative effect in medicine have happened, but why such a thing happened?
Could you repeat your question?
Why can you say that negative impact have happened in EU?
The negative impact. What do you want to know? I read
the reason why negative effects happen. The reason.
Quality of care. The quality of care decreased. Oh right, it said so. Yeah, in the EU model, the quality of care decreased.
Like 71% of the 71% reports that negative effect have
Yes,
happened.
negative.
What kind of negative effect?
Doesn't say here.
So you don't know exactly, but what the negative effect happened. Right. Thank you. Thank you, Chairperson, judges, and audience of corporate opponent. I'm a talk speaker from a farm side. My name is Kento Tokai. First, let me talk about the DA2. First, they say the amount of work won't change, and I take this plan. It is equal to working time won't change, and amount of stress also won't change. They show evidence that unpaid working is more stressful than office work. However, I checked the evidence, but this evidence just told us that if there is certain people who is not unfamiliar to him, they are really stressful. This is really unrelated evidence, and we couldn't know that how much rate unpaid work is stressful than office work. So the D2's impact is really unclear. Second, it is dangerous for company that their employees work illegally. If the situation exposed, companies will get huge damage on management. When the situation is known, companies have to pay all unpaid salary, which is reciting management. Also, illegal companies announced on page of NW, and it damages their reputations. If companies are recognized as a black company even once, their good won't be purchased and new workers won't work there. It also harms them. Therefore, for company, workers illegal working is not worse when considering the risk. Third, they say the worker will work illegal, however, only few companies will break the regulation. According to MHW, only 0.6% of companies violate law in present situation. Therefore, they are true. Some companies will break law. However, only few company. Majority of company will follow the rule, and so their argument is not important. Fourth, they say the company will do unpaid working. However, it's not important because a few company need unpaid working. According to Japan, only 12% company have 8 hours and more overtime. After we take span, they can have 8 hours overtime. Therefore, there is only 12 company which can finish their task within 48 hours. So the argument is not important. I wanted the DA1 about transportation industry. First, they fail to prove that how much money they will lose or how much money Japanese economy will lose. They just say that 12 trillion yen Japanese economy will lose. However, it's totally not true because 12 trillion yen is the number of the net shopping market, size of the net shopping market, and we never lose whole of the net shopping market. Some of them will lose, but not all. So we never lose 12 trillion yen. So we couldn't understand how big the D1 size of the impact. So the D1 is totally not important. Second, they said even if the transportation industry's workers work more than 48 hours or even long, their target will be 81 and their health is exposed to danger. Actually, a lot of people have been sacrificed in the transportation industry. For example, a truck driver died in busy season with only 1.5 hours daily sleep. Companies' profit definitely cannot justify overwork days of the workers. So they have to show why companies' profit is prioritized and prioritized to their workers' health, and they have to care workers' health and as well as the profit. So their DA1 is also not important. So I have 2 attack to DA1 and 4 attack to DA2. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, judges, chairperson, the audience, and of course our opponents. I would like to ask some questions. My name is Satoshi. Okay, so starting from DA2, you said in your second attack that like companies are trying to restrict these, right?
Try to?
Companies are trying to restrict like these service overtime, right?
Try. I
the
not
government.
try to, but the work they stop workers to work left.
Okay,
work
so
home.
how can companies like restrict the individual workers from taking work home?
So they so they are strictly checking working time of the workers or something the other way.
But as we said, in the worksite reform, like even though companies checked for those, like
So
the
I
number of
ask you
people.
that how workers bring their home, bring their task.
What did you say?
How workers take their task to home?
What do you mean?
How? So in what way workers will?
Wouldn't they take home like bring home like computers or something?
So they can look at their computer, right?
Okay. So you said in your third attack that only 0.6% are violating the law. But if they are violating the law, how do they know? Like there are like a lot of companies that violate law, right? How can the government know that it's all of them?
So I think that only 0.6% are violating. So Japanese inspection system is enough.
Why can you say that only 0.6% is violating?
So it's,
Like if they are violating and there are some that is not found, right?
So why can you say that there is a hidden company? There is not unknown.
Okay, sorry, I have to move on to DA1. Okay, in your second attack, you said that like health is more important. So what you mean by here is that after the plan, health of transportation workers will improve, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Did you prove it?
So as far as our AD1, more than workers whose working time is more than 48 hours are huge risk of mental and physical health. So we have to care of the transportation workers.
Okay, thank you.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Please say your name and start.
Thank you, Chairperson, judges, audience, and of course my opponent. Let me start my defense speech. My name is Kensuke. First, I will mention about our 81. I will combine the attack 1 and 2 because they say that even if after taking this plan, workers will not sleep. However, the attack doesn't stand because, as we showed in constructed speech, according to the union research, workers sleep 6 hours on average when they work less than 50 hours per week. And according to Satoshi, workers need to sleep 6 hours to keep their mental health. So if we take this plan, workers begin to sleep more than 6 hours on average, and their health will improve. Therefore, our 81's process is clear. In the attack 1, they said due to the smartphones, the sleeping hours will decline, but working itself is also the stressful. So even if they use smartphones, stress will be relieved. I will combine the attacks 3 and 4 because in the both attack, they say that unpaid labor will happen, but the attack doesn't stand because the system of labor inspection is strong. Few companies therefore violate the rule. According to the labor ministry, only 0.6% of company violates the regulation of working hours. Therefore, the probability of violation or unpaid labor is too small. I move on to our ADU2. In the attack 1, they say that we did not show there is no correlation between working hours and medical errors. However, the attack doesn't stand because, as we said in constructive speech, according to Japan Surgical Society, 81% of doctors answer the main reason for medical accident is overwork. So the attack doesn't stand. In the attack 2, they say that the attack 2, they say doctors need to spend a lot of time seeing patients, but the attack doesn't stand because they don't spend a lot of time seeing patients. According to Media Air Times, they spend only 20% of hours seeing patients and spend more than half of hours doing tasks which doctors don't have to do, such as typing electronic medical chart. Those tasks can be cut by task shifting. According to recruited doctors, their work will decrease by 5 hours per day by task shifting. Now they are not doing because their working hours is not regulated. But after taking this plan, they will begin because they will be their working hours will be regulated tightly, and it will be necessary for them to reduce working hours as much as possible. I have an example of a hospital that actually succeed in cutting working hours. According to Asahi newspaper, Korean hospital reduced working hours and they abolished salaries diagnosis, but the hospital did not have problem at all. So the attack attack 2 doesn't stand. In the attack 3, in EU, the negative impact have happened. However, the attack doesn't stand. According to Joe Coram, after working time directive in EU, the average length of stay did not change, so patients don't have bad effect. They said I asked for the example or what kind of bad effect they have. However, they didn't show the example of bad effect. If they have some example of bad effect other than the patient hospital average length of stay, they have to show it, but they didn't. So the attack 3 doesn't stand. Throughout our 81 and 2, 2,100 workers and 3,800 patients are suffering from overwork. So we have to protect them. In order to do it, we have to take this plan. Thank you.
Please say your name and start.
Okay, thank you, judges, chairperson, the audience, and of course our opponents. I would like to start my defense speech. My name is Satoshi. Okay, so please look at our DA2. So I would like to start from their first attack. They said that the evidence from Yamamoto is unclear, but they didn't deny the fact that unpaid stress causes more stress, and we believe it does because the workers aren't rated correctly, and the companies are not rating them, and that will definitely cause stress, right? So we believe that even if the evidence is not reliable, as they say, or unpaid have more stress in now, so their attack does not stand. Second and third attack, I would like to combine it. They're saying that companies are trying to trying to restrict them, but as we said in even in the work start reform, companies try to restrict it by law, but 1.7 times more people are taking work home. So from this we can say that the company's efforts are not enough. Workers are the ones who are taking work home, and it's impossible for the companies to actually find all of them. And for example, banning computers. Companies do ban computers, but it's still not effective. According to Nikkei Extra in 2018 quote, about 80% of large companies and 50% of SMEs ban taking work home, but over 50% of workers actually take some work home. 60% of workers in large companies and 80% in SMEs use their own PC when working at home, but they cannot bring out the same work environment inside the company, unquote. Not only will the workers work using their own PC, they won't be able to work as efficient as in the workplace. Thus, their attack does not stand. Okay, sorry, moving on. They said that the unpaid is only 20. Moving on to DA1. Okay, they attacked that our impact is very unclear. But for example, transportation industry is the fundament of the society. Without being able to transport things, companies can't export goods, right? And the economic activity as a whole stops. Also, like stores, like convenience stores, will directly be damaged by this plan, which affects our daily lives. That's why this industry is exempted currently, so we shouldn't take this plan. Also, they said that after the plan, the working environment, the health of the truck drivers will increase, but that's not true. In the according to Fukugyo Beginner quote, in the transportation industry, where the wages are low, many drivers barely make a living overtime pay. The salary will decrease even more, and drivers may have to work in a side job, further damaging their health, unquote. Thus, regulations like this will only damage workers' health, so rather we should not take this plan. Okay. Going back to this third attack, they said that 0.6% of their third attack to DA2, they said that only 0.6% are violating the law. But as we ask in the question time, like, if they're violating the law, then like not all of the cases are found, right? And so we believe that this is big. And working from home causes like much damage. And so we believe that we should take this plan.
Thank you. We will now have a 2-minute preparation time.
Thank you, Chairperson, honorable judges, audience, and of course my opponent. I'll start my summary speech. My name is Kento. Let me state the most important point in this debate. It's the rights which will be saved, mentioned in both of 81-2. Without rights, any transportation workers or any unpaid workers can't even earn money. Rights are irreversible and the most unique things. Therefore, they are the most important and we should take this plan. Then let me compare our 81 and the DA1 in terms of impact. In the DA1, our biggest question is that how much profit they are gaining in overtime. They didn't show this number until the end. They showed 12 trillion yen will be lost, but as you know, it's not correct number. So they said it's fundamental for Japanese factory, but we couldn't get how fundamental it is. And also, as we attack, transportation workers are especially at huge risk of long working hours stress. Before we consider about the company's profit or Japanese profit, we should consider about their lives. Compared to this, in our 81, we clearly showed 2,100 workers are dying directly because of long working hours. They attacked that we didn't show the process of sleeping, but as we defended, workers can sleep 6 hours in average if they work less than 50 hours, and in present situation, they cannot sleep in average, so the process is buried. And also, as we showed, long working hours itself is a big cause of stress, and because of this, as I said, 2,100 are dying. So in terms of clearness of impact, 81's periods. Then let me compare our 82 and the DA2 in terms of probability. First, about their DA2, as we attacked, only 0.6% of companies are actually violating law. And we don't have to, they said we can't do we can't check all companies, but we don't have to check all companies. And also, they didn't show how much tasks will be taken to home or how many workers will do unpaid working at all in their DA2. As we showed, only 12%, less than 12% of companies are working more than 48 hours. So the process is not so strong. And also, in 12 companies, even if at some companies, if unpaid working happens, the impact is quite small. As we attacked, since the amount of tasks won't change, the only difference by the plan is where they work, office or at home. So their impact is not so significant, and they didn't show any risk or any stress caused by unpaid working, especially unpaid working. Compared to this, our 82 is quite unique and process is varied. 81's target was overworking workers, but in 82, all people in Japan are possible to die because it depends on doctor's condition. They attacked that doctors can't finish their tasks, but as we defended, until now, there were no strict limitation about doctors' working hours. So they need to do tasks which can be done by others, and their patient seeing time is only 20%. However, after the plan, doctors will be obliged to shorten their working hours, so they will shift their tasks to others. And as we showed, actual example of hospital, which could successfully reduce the time. So the process is varied. So all in all, the negative argument was not so clear. We couldn't get any clear advantage or any clear process. So we should take this plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, judges, audience, and of course, opponent. I'd like to start my summary speech. My name is Yuki. We are going to look at this debate in terms of probability. First of all, let's look at the 81. They claim that health of people will improve from two reasons. One, increasing sleeping time, and 2, reducing working time. We believe both would not happen from some reason. First of all, about the sleeping time, we believe this is very clear. First of all, we showed you the reason why the people's sleeping time won't increase after the plan. Like, people are able to sleep for 6 or 7 hours, even the current situation, but they don't. Why? Because they are using smartphone for their free time. And they didn't deny this reasoning. No, actually, we compared between the 48 hours or little or over 48 hours and have no significant effect. From this, we can say sleeping time has no effect, and on this point, like they said, like, on this point, we think their probability is very low. And about the working time, we claim that taking work home. So let's look at our DA2. In our DA2, we claim that first of all, cause of work overwork is too much work, and it is around consensus. And this situation won't change even after the plan. What will happen? Looking at the case of EU, it's actually happening the unpaid work at home. They claim that number is unclear. However, we show that there are 23% difference between Japan and the EU, and also 7.7 hours in average per week are working unpaid. We clearly show a clear number. Also, like even in the Japan cases, those companies try to reduce working time. Actually, working time at home, 1.7 times people actually take work home. So we believe our analysis is more reliable. Since they've shown no analysis from their side. Only response here is that like only 0.6% is like investigated. But as our defense speaker clearly explained, it is not the whole case, right? Because it is very difficult to find it. We believe even after the plan, it will not happen. And going to the 82, there are some analysis in this round that is contradicting. Like, their side says that the long working hour is bad, and our side long working hour is necessary. We cannot decide here. So let's look at the effect. Please look at the 6th attack. We show that actually that in the EU, actually the medical error increased from 19 point to 23 point. It means like actually in the EU, actually the medical error is increasing. From this, we can say their possibility is 0, or even if they may have some effect, we believe it is very small. Comparing to this, we believe DA1 has a lot of possibility because our probability is not denied at all. Right? Our scenario is not denied. Right? The labor shortage is serious, and we can in the transportation industry we can increase the productivity. It is not denied, and since we believe here is not denied, we believe DA1 can be the voting issue. Even if we compare AD1 and DA2, we believe that DA2 has still a lot of impact. Why? Please look at the last evidence of DA2. We show because the workers want to earn salary by working time, but they cannot. Mental health is uniquely harmed by unpaid work, so we believe on this point, even on this point, we can vote for the negative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, debaters. The debate is now over. You all did a great job.
Hello, I'm Toshi Nakamura. I'm a chief judge of the semi-final round, so I will announce the result of this semi-final. But before that, I will make some of the comments in order to improve, you to improve more about the debating. And first of all, what I want to emphasize is current work style reform by our administration is not so bad, at least I believe personally. That's because, I'm here because of that reform. This work style reform obliges us to take at least 5 days off per year. And when I noticed the schedule of this HEnDA tournament, normally I cannot take it off, but I intentionally saved my schedule of the off, and then last week my boss obliged me to take it off for a week, and that's why I came here. So even if the result of the debate says that the current work style reform is not effective, actually in reality in the business world it really changes our work style. So, yeah. So that means in the debate results doesn't have to be in line with the reality in that sense. However, please remember the Abe reform is very. I'm not a supporter of the Abe, but the work-style reform is very good thing at least, I think. And today, I was really surprised at the quality of the debate. Both sides did a very great job, and especially I thought that what nice was the quality of the Q&A. Both sides uses this Q&A session very strategically. I think all the 4 questionnaire for the 4 people who made a question did a great job. So it was very wonderful, and yeah, and also the style of the question was also nice. It's very friendly, I think. I mean, they made a pressure as a game. However, they try to wait until the other side concludes the explanation, right? And it will create the more friendship after this round. So maybe there are several reasons of doing the debate. The English debate or logic itself, or making a friend. But this round is a very good example of how to make a friend using the good debate round, right? So I want to ask you a question. How many of you, okay, please decide, what's the motivation you start the debate? English or logic or making friend? Please choose. Who say English is the most important for you? Okay, 10-20%. Okay, logic. Okay, 30-40. Friend. Not so many. Okay, but yeah, okay, thank you. And for me, it's friend. That's because I'm from the university debate society, and when I was sophomore, second year, I found a very good, very cute, nice girl whose name is Mori-san, and she says that she is joining the one debate tournament, and therefore I want to be a friend with her. Therefore, I joined the debate. So for me, the friendship was my first motivation. But the first motivation is just a first motivation. After that, I learned a lot of things in English, the logic things. Then, okay. Then going to the more details of the contents of the debate. But I focus on the question and answers. I want to pick up the 3 good question and answer things. The first one is about the kind of the question to the DA1. There was asking what is the impact of the DA1. Actually, this is the most weakest point of the DA1, I think. What's the real impact? And DA1, the negative side tried to say this is around 20 trillion yen, but actually in reality it's not, right? And only by a question Q&A, we almost understand such a weakness. And for the DA2, the question from the negative side was also a question to the affirmative attack. Was very interesting. 0.6% violates the rule. That's the affirmative assumption. But the negative says, if this is violating the rules, not all of things can be found. Yeah, yes, it's true. But if I don't fully believe, but that's a good strategy for making a more bigger impact in the debate, right? And I think the most crucial question was on the 81, sleeping time. The negative fourth speaker, Saito-kun, did a very good job about what's the importance of the sleeping time in the affirmative construct, affirmative logic. And actually, for the sleeping time logic, it was almost fully denied by the negative attack speech. However, affirmative defense speaker was clever. They add another link, that is the stress. And the treatment of this argument is very crucial to decide the results of the round. Actually, there are 4 judges voted for one side and 1 judge is voted for the another side. And 1 judge thought this stress ring is a new argument. He ignored it. But 4 judges didn't think it's a new argument, therefore take this advantage 1. Therefore, 4 judges voted for 81 and 1 judge is voted for the negative side. Therefore, the winner of the round is affirmative. So congratulations. Congratulations. So you guys will go to the final round, but before that, please don't forget that please keep showing the respect to the other side, because this game was very nice. And even though you are a finalist, but you are almost also qualified to the finals, I think. And also you showed a very good example of how Q&A is very important, how it is important. And I also think the Q&A was very important because before coming here, I was asked from my wife, because I use day off, the holiday for the Christmas for using, not for the family, but this HEnDA tournament. And she asked me about what is the compensation for her. And she says, okay, so I will go back today. I will go back home immediately after this final round, and then try to pick up my small son from the nursery school, and she can take off today. And this following this answer is very important. Why is that? Because my wife was also debater. And I have to follow the I have to respect what I answered in the Q&A. And her family name before the marriage was Mori-san. So I made not only the friend, but more than that. But you don't have to do that. But if you have opportunity, please try to do that. Thank you.